Oh, hello. I think we're live. And just like that, see some familiar
You
faces
killed me with
just
"Oh, hello."
tricking in. Yo,
Oh, hello.
hello. Let's just get started. It's Wednesday night. It is hump day. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. This is episode 763. I am your host, Steve V, alongside partner in crime, Kodi Maurice Doggette, with a Superman key. Is that what I'm looking at? That looks really
I'm
cool.
Superman,
I love
honey.
that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I love, it's an homage to Janet. I wear it around my neck.
Janet and
But
Superman, right?
but she used to wear the key on her earring. And
I,
hello,
honey, I
darling.
know. Yeah.
And I love comic books. So yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love this
yeah.
is holds special meaning to me, this case. So
I
yeah.
love that. Oh, that's very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I see some people trickling in. We are in front of a live virtual audience. We want to hear from you. But let's just get into tonight's sex talk. And it all really stems from, I'll just say, we're talking about a viral study that sent the internet into chaos again. It's not something that's really new. And the idea that gay men have dramatically have had more sexual partners than everyone else. And honestly, gay men have always been treated like a social experiment, if you ask me. When it comes to sex, really, we're either too sexual, not emotional enough, too open, too slutty, too committed, phobic, too app obsessed. Yep. But underneath all of it, something deeper. What are we actually looking for? Validation, freedom, attention, escape, community, intimacy. Because if we're honest, sex in gay culture can be many things at once, right? Sometimes it's
Mhm.
healing, sometimes it's empowering, sometimes it's performative. I can speak to that. And sometimes it's lonely as hell. And tonight, we wanted to unpack the reality behind the stereotypes because I think most gay men sit somewhere between liberation and longing. And it started with an old study that somehow, Kodi, has gone viral again. It started with the Kinsey Report back in the
Mhm.
50s that has resurfaced again, a viral study that shows stats about gay men having hundreds or thousands, actually, of partners have circulated, which really said, Kodi, that 30% of gay men have had 1,000 partners. And it was based on an early study that was done in San Francisco. And see, that's the thing, it didn't really asked all people. It was a viral
Yeah.
study back in the day, pre-AIDS, done in San Francisco, the most liberal city before the AIDS epidemic, in places like bathhouses. And yeah, 28% of men said they had about 1,000 partners in their time.
And that one
And
night.
not one night, yeah, because we're going to
Oh, okay.
counteract that. So that's resurfaced, and it's caused somehow. This has resurfaced throughout the years because I think what the article is suggesting is that we've always looked at ourselves in numbers and shamed ourselves. People have shamed ourselves, but then I just wanted to counteract it with recent studies, or not even studies, where there's the 1,000 bottom challenge done by Drake Vaughn. Drake Vaughn he's won the Twink Award in adult entertainment. He's currently on an Out TV series that I'm watching right now with Boomer Banks, and it's about they're in Miami, and it's kind of a reality show, and it seems very performative, but it's good and juicy and
Yeah.
drama. Drake Vaughn just recently did the 1,000 bottoms challenge that he said he was going to have sex with 1,000 bottoms that was supposed to happen. And Bonnie Blue is a creator, a heterosexual straight female creator, that said she had sex with 1,057 men in a single 12-hour period, which then prompted Drake Vaughn to do his. At any rate, adult performers, we are in 2026, where that may or may not be something that is provocative, that you've had 1,000 partners. These people want to do it in, or are claiming, and I'm using air quotes, people that listen to this when this drops for having sex in a 12-hour, 24-hour period. I guess we could just start. First off, gay men in general, if you've been sexual, have had a lot of partners. Would you even begin to know what your, and we're going to talk about body count in a second.
I literally was like, he's going to ask me what my body count is. I was, I don't know if
Diego
you saw
is watching us live
the
from
panic.
somewhere and said, I have more.
More than me? Oh my
Okay,
God.
baby.
Okay, baby.
We
Sure,
heard you loud
baby.
and clear.
Do I want to count? I don't think so. I've taken each experience for the lovely, wonderful connecting, bonding experience that it is, and I appreciate and love them for being
Oh
individuals,
my gosh.
or groups, or threesomes. I every experience is different, and I want to validate each experience by not counting.
Right. And like I said, many
Because
of
the number's up there.
the number's up there for me too. And we're going to talk about dark rooms and talk about, because in one night, many of us that have gone to dark rooms and bathhouses, yeah, you typically are having sex with multiple people in one night. And depending on how many times you go to the bathhouse and then you do the math, and then I don't know, it's definitely more probably than our counterparts, but in a way, I do like how this is coming up again because it was based on an old study that really wasn't fair when it just looked at a specific community pre-AIDS, post-sexual revolution, and our gay sexuality. But then you look at things like today, PrEP and DoxyPEP, which are keeping us from not getting STIs and keeping us from not getting HIV. And there's a newer renaissance, if you will, of people having sex again, like a lot of sex at times. And, but I don't think it represents all of us. And I guess
Yeah.
the big question to kind of set all this off is, why are people so fascinated by gay male sexuality? And why does it come up so much, do you think?
Well, I think it's because we spoke about this before about the fact that two men in a relationship uh, gives a lot of leeway as far as indulging in sexual experience is concerned.
Yeah.
So I feel like because the sexual uh, need for sex is heightened and enhanced when two men are together, I think that lends itself to people wondering, oh, how much sex do they actually really have? Oh, do they really do this, and this, or are they like us? Because yeah, men in general in society have been deemed as sexual beings, and that they need sex more than women, which I honestly think is necessarily true. I think we're just socialized that way in order for us to believe that we as men need more sex. But we are here and we have testosterone. Women also have testosterone, but at a lower level. But I'm getting too much into science now.
But
And
I think you're right though, that, you know, it's, I mean, yes, you can look at history and you can look at how it was illegal to even have gay sex in earlier
Mhm.
times. And then the Kinsey Report came out in the 50s, which basically said that it's a spectrum. And whether you agree with that or not, that
Mhm.
sexuality is on a spectrum. And then future studies post sexual revolution also went along with the Kinsey and took it a little bit further and basically said that there are people that like are attracted to same sex, and that started to change people's minds. Sexual revolution, Stonewall, gay men pride,
Yeah.
all then happened. And but as I've said before in the show before, is when most of our sexuality has been built on our sex lives, and
Mhm.
then you include in things like AIDS, which
Yeah.
was not good, but it still
Devastating.
had to do with our sex lives. Our I say it's our superpower now. I keep saying that because I do think our sexuality is our superpower. We had to grow up, many of us, not all of us, had to grow up with our sexuality. And for me, it became a superpower in so many ways. I used it in just gaining access and confidence. But I Do you still think, Cody, there's a moral judgment attached to gay male pleasure even today, even when you have Drake Vaughn, who's a relatively current adult performer that is saying he's doing 1,000 bottoms in a night?
Lucky guy. Wow. Yeah, I totally I totally think that there's a stigma still there as far as a society deeming us as kind of deviant, honestly. I really think that it's hard to shake because we are not the forefront or what people think of when they think of a loving relationship. It's like a heterosexual relationship. They they see all these things. They see us and they see different types of relationships and how um, the things that they normally do not see in a heterosexual relationship. They think that we do all of the things that a heterosexual relationship would never do. That's the what I was trying to convey actually, because I
And
feel like
see, yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, I would actually disagree. Is there
Really?
still, well, because I think today Grinder is a household name. Everybody, Madonna was just on Grinder. She's been on the grid. It's like anybody knows about Grinder. Heated rivalry didn't just attract our community, but millions of heterosexual women, and I'm sure there's some straight men in there that saw our gay sexuality presented in a way that was really out there. They didn't dumb it down. I like that Jacob Tierney, the creator, didn't dumb it down. And I think OnlyFans and the other versions of it, just for fans, are also household names right now. The woman that I just talked about right now, she said she had over 1,000. And then the current guy that Drake Vaughn also, I do think that maybe like what Doug is watching us live right now, maybe it's because they are jealous of the fun we are having. I do think it's a little bit more accepted in many ways, and it's not
Hmm.
as demonized as it used to be. I mean, there's still parts that are.
Yeah, definitely. But I hear what you're saying, and the people that you're speaking on, I feel like they uh, are more open-minded, but I still feel like underlying, I feel like people really think of us as being outside of the norm of what people do in their relationships. As far as sex is concerned, I feel like they think that, two men together is still taboo. And it's underlying because I feel like we've made a lot of headway, but I do think that even me walking down the street, I'm like, oh wow, holding if I'm holding somebody else's hand, which I haven't done in a while. So if you're down to hold my hand, guys, it's something that I feel is looked at with a little bit of not judgment, but like, oh wow, it's two guys holding hands, and that's something that's not it's out of the norm, basically.
Well, based on this study, it sounds like we're really horny, which I think we are, based on two men and
That's true.
testosterone. Do you think there was ever a phase of our lives that you can pinpoint where you were the horniest? I'll answer that right now.
Go
I'm
ahead.
still horny these days,
I'm
and
like, now
Diego and
today.
yeah, in my 50s, Diego and I, like, I just told a story on episode 762 where we brought home two guys and they were filming both of us, and each time getting by this guy that had a really big dick, and we were both into it. I think, no, I think we're still as horny. It's been a continuum for me, I think. How about for you?
Yeah, I think I was really horny in my 20s. And then in my 30s, I was like, oh, I need to focus on finding a relationship. And then I found a relationship and now it's over. And, and I'm still super. I was horny in my relationship. Let me not even mince words or say that I wasn't. I was like ready to go at the drop of a hat. So, yes, I'm always horny. I've always been horny. I'm just a horny guy. What can I say?
So, yeah, we want to hear from you, though. Anybody watching us live, weigh in on some of the things we're talking about, because it's kind of interesting how this was all based on early studies that said a portion of our community, 29% of gay men, have had a 1,000 body count. And I hate that word, but in their lifetime. How would you even know? Like, how would you even I think it's estimated, but and
It
I
has
think
to.
numbers end up making it provocative and,
Yeah.
"Ooh, you've had that amount?" But
So
yeah.
I was doing the math on just the past year,
Mhm.
right?
How'd you do in
Just
calculus, by the way? Before let me
I
check your math.
when I went into college, short story here. When I went into college, I tested through all the math. I didn't have to take any math classes when I went to
Okay,
college.
so alright, expert right
I'm
now, I
actually
love
pretty
it.
decent, but it was like easy. It's easy because like I estimate that I had five guys a week, right? And five times I don't. You know what? I might have to pull up the calendar. I mean the calculator because I am not sure. But let's do the math right here, right now. I
Add
gotta
the
pull it up.
1, carry the 1 over,
Carry the
subtract the
3.
5, use
Oh yeah,
pi.
there was a slow week in there, so
Christmas.
about 260 guys last year.
Just last year.
Just last year, but I was on hyper mode. I was not mincing any words. I was really trying to get in there. So,
What
yeah,
then I think it's realistic that you
it is. I could have hit
yeah,
1,000.
yeah. Well, I think
But
for me too, I'm
again,
in
I
my
was
50s,
yeah.
and I've had periods where and see, for me, it's never been like weeks where, oh, every day I have somebody different. It was
Mhm,
for me when I became more sexually aware and positive about my sexuality was actually here in New York City. And it had to do more with the BDSM culture and dark rooms. And so, in any given night on a particular Saturday, I could have had sex with 3 or 4 different people, maybe more,
mhm.
but
Yeah,
that was probably the average. And so, I probably racked up more numbers in those periods, but then there would be days like I wasn't looking I've never been somebody that then Monday through Friday are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm like, you know, sex obsessed where I had to hook up with somebody." It was
yeah,
just periods of time. So it would be harder for me to like do the math on that one, but
yeah. Like the lifetime, I see what you're saying because
yeah,
me personally, I'm when I'm in a relationship, I'm like to be in a relationship and monogamous. So that would be one person for however many years we were together. So yeah, it ebbs and it flows as far as that's concerned. I would say if we're talking numbers, I would say I'm around 500, something like that. Even with 260 last year.
here's a question though to kind of switch it up a little bit about
Oh, you're not gonna
talking
do yours? You're not
well,
gonna say
how many well,
a
like I
guesstimate.
said, it's definitely up there, I'm sure, at 55 and periods of time where I had more sex, I would think it would be up there. It's just hard for me to tell. I
Okay.
mean, I would have to look it would be we wouldn't have time to look at the math because it would be when was it was really probably in that period when I in New York here for about 5 or 6 years where I was
Mhm.
going to certain types of dark rooms and after hours clubs where I probably slept with more people and doing that math and then doing the overall I mean, it's just like a
Yeah.
whole
You're
thing.
advanced calculus. Okay. I
Yeah,
got
right, which I didn't ever
AP.
go which I didn't
AP.
do, so and we don't have time for that, and so it's up there, though. It's definitely
Yeah.
up there for sure. I mean, if we look at historically, many of us gay men have we used emotional intimacy to like have we historically used sex as a survival and for connection instead of emotional? I have you
Oh, yeah.
used yeah, there was times
Definitely.
when especially in that period I wasn't really looking for anything. I was exploring my sexuality and I was exploring BDSM culture and I entered the New York Mr. Eagle contest and I was more about developing community within that world and exploring my sexuality that I didn't get to do when I was in my 20s and 30s that I was able to explore in my 40s. So I wasn't looking for an emotional connection. I was looking for those things that I talked about. And I'm not necessarily there right now, but I still am horny and I still want sex. But that was a particular period for me. Have you noticed that about yourself throughout the years that you
Yeah.
used? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have used sex um, to feel like a loneliness gap. I feel like before, yeah, before a while ago, maybe when I was in my 30s, maybe a little bit before, I would have sex just to be like, oh, I'm not alone. So that was something. But I think now I have, transformed that and taken that to a whole different level. And it's been like really affirming for me because I think it comes from a different place now. It comes from a more like valid self-validating space to where I'm taking uh more control over my own sexuality and really just letting it flow from there, as opposed to letting me just going to have sex with somebody be about me not wanting to be alone. So yeah, that was the
This is
question, right?
Yeah, and this is an interesting question that we were talking about right before we went live that you were sharing with me that I wrote this down. Have you ever gone into a hookup wanting affection more than sex? But didn't you share with me something the vice versa of
This
somebody
is
that yeah, I'll
yeah.
prep it, of somebody wanting affection over the other person just wanting sex, and we recorded here with our co-host, Sebastian Lacaze, in the table I'm sitting at right now on Monday night. You can listen to it, episode 762, a really good episode with him and yourself, and you left us, and we had a great night because we
Well,
ended up
Sebastian
having
left first.
okay.
And I left maybe like 10 minutes after Sebastian because I was, you chat a little bit you see me on my phone sometimes, and I
Yeah.
might be chatting with a boy, and I had been chatting with a young gentleman, and he was actually staying in your building. And
Apartment
so
sitting or whatever.
yeah, he's house sitting. So he's not your neighbor, but he is your temporary neighbor currently. So I said my goodbyes to you after our lovely evening, and I said, "What apartment number are you in? I am in the same building as you." And so I went up there, and he's a beautiful guy,
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous. We were making out, we were doing all the things, but I think energetically we were not in the same space. I think he wanted more affectionate sex, and I wanted like hot butt naked, slap your ass sex, and he wanted to be held and made to feel beautiful, and I just was not in that space. And eventually, it got to a moment where he was like, this is not just is not working for me. I think you're being a little bit too. Um, I think aggressive is not really the correct word for what it was, but I was just
but on a different
too
vibe.
different vibes, definitely. So I've definitely been there. I've been there 2 days ago, basically, as far as different energies during sex and how that can make or break a sexual experience.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when I wrote that, I was like, "Oh my gosh," and then this is you just told me that story,
I
and it was
I
like,
know,
"You
but
gotta." And we didn't
so
even
good.
know that you, like I mean, because we recorded the show, we all hang out, we had wine, we got dinner together, we went to the rooftop, and then I'm like, "Good for you for still finding somebody in the building," and,
I couldn't
I
believe
mean
it when he was like, I'm in such and such building." I was like, "What? Me too." This is kismet. This is perfect. And like I had met the guy previously. Like it's not somebody that I was not familiar with, but yeah. So it just didn't work out. Hopefully it'll work out soon, because now that I know, I can do better. That's the thing about me.
well
When I know better, I do better.
yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't beat yourself up, I just think you were on different
Oh,
wavelengths, and so
oh
if
yeah.
you really wanna see him again, you know what he's looking for, more emotional and nurturing, and if you're in that mode, then you can be his person for a
Yeah.
night and
For a couple hours.
come afterwards and have a drink with me, and since he's still in the building. I
When I
mean
knock on your door, don't be
yeah,
surprised. You'd be
okay.
like, "Come on in."
Which brings up the whole conversation, which I don't like it so much, body count and the whole thing that, talking about numbers. This is interesting because do you think people do judge numbers, I think, in general. Does body count actually matter? I mean, our straight counterparts back in the day, it seemed like straight men, they were encouraged by other straight men to have more sexual experiences. I think they're jealous of us, to be honest. And why do you think people do judge numbers? I think, right?
They do. I It's only a problem if you have more than me. I've I watch Living Single a lot, and then there's one episode where they go and they count the number of names in their little black books. These two people that are dating, Kyle and Max, and the woman has one more than the man does, and he could not handle it. So I think I'm a little bit like that. I think that as long as we, and it doesn't have to necessarily be, you can have more than me, but not exponentially more than me, because then I get a little
Really?
jealous. Well, I'm a competitive person, so then I'll feel like I have to go out and have all of the experiences too.
I
Eventually, I
think
will be
once you
able to
get
let it
past a
go.
number, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're both experienced. But
Really? You
it
think so?
for me, but it does bring up a good point because on Out TV, I am watching that reality show called Ultimate Boys Trip. It's with
Uh-huh.
Boomer Banks, it's with Max Connor, and Max Connor is an adult performer who I actually really like. He's the reason I watch the show because he makes me laugh on every episode, and he's kind of the voice of reason for these fools in Miami on this Ultimate Boys Trip. And one of Drake Vaughn brings quote unquote a friend with him, and it's Cyber Twink or Cyber, I think it's called, he goes by Cyber Twink, and they've collaborated before, but Max didn't know that Drake was bringing him. And
Oh.
it comes so when they're talking in this one scene, the Cyber Twink guy tells Max, well, I messaged you. We had a really good scene. And Max is like, yo, we had a great collaboration. It was awesome. And the Cyber Twink guy goes, yeah, but I messaged you, DM'd you afterwards, and you never responded. And Max goes, well, I don't read all of my DMs anymore. It wasn't personal. Well, the other one took it personally and they cleared that up. And then on this Ultimate Boys trip, they're getting it on, Max and this twink guy, and
Okay.
they're finding it. Well, there's a moment where they're talking about past, Max is asking the twink, well, what's your past relationships been like? And he says, well, I've been married twice. Oh, he doesn't even say twice, more than once. And Max is like, like, are you kidding me? And which I think I would be like that too. If I We don't even know if it's definitely more than once. He's been married and he's young, and I would be a little bit red flag if I was talking to somebody that had been married more than once. I think
Hmm.
I would need to know more details. Well, the
Oh
twink
yeah.
says, "You'll have to ask me on the second date," which, of course,
No.
cliffhanger, and I mean,
You're gonna tell me now,
yeah,
because I mean that's pertinent information. How are you gonna? You can't lead with, because in relationships, it's it's not one person's fault. It's both why things break up, whatever transpires in the relationship. It's the fault of both people. So, but I would like to know the context and what happened in the relationship, because it does matter. Because what if I have the same hangups or the same ways as your ex? Then it might not work between us. There's also things that you have probably learned from dealing with your ex that you can apply to the relationship in the future. So these things do matter. So no, let's talk about it now. Maybe we can end this date and start a new date right now, because
I
and
mean,
qualify it as a second date, because you need to tell me right this second,
more than
because
one marriage, I would
it's a
be.
lot.
I think it would
It's a
be,
lot.
especially when the person standing across from you is very young looking. And I would be, yeah, I'm curious to know where that would ever go. Yeah. Um, then the question is, what do gay men really want now? Questions like, has your relationship to sex changed as you've gotten older? What matters now more? Chemistry, intimacy, attraction, and do gay men secretly crave emotional closeness more than we admit? And I'll read a comment. Bryce said, "My horniness unlocks when there is a deep and stimulating emotional connection. I unfortunately have cobwebs currently." But yeah, I think on this show we've talked a lot about connection and really having deeper connections at the core of us. Like we all want fun, hot sex, but I do think connection is something. Would you say to that?
Oh, we as human beings crave connection. Like,
Yeah.
that's the final thought for me. Would be hard pressed to find a person out there that does not crave connection between another person. Maybe people are more to themselves. That doesn't mean that they don't want to have that connection or want to connect with other people, and that's fine as long as you know how to make those connections work healthily. So, yeah, I think we all are out here just craving connection in one way or another.
I love it. And are you up for a quick fire round
Yeah,
based on what
always.
we've been talking
I
about?
love a nice quick round, honey. And
Now remember, whatever comes to mind, even if you don't quick, we did it with Sebastian. He's like, well, it depends on the
Yo,
context. It's just
Sebastian.
whatever comes to mind. And
Well, I am a
yeah.
bit intoxicated now. I don't know. I think I put a little bit too much tequila in this drink, so we'll see what happens with this.
Okay. Most memorable hookup city.
City. Okay, it would have to be I visited Chicago recently, um, but I think that one was pretty hot as far as the hookups that I had there. I went to this whole sex party and I fucked like 6 guys. See? That's the tequila talking.
Mine would be Barcelona.
Yeah?
Because I met up with a guy years ago on the dance floor, and we carried it on for a couple of nights, and it was
That's
really
lovely.
yeah, and I had my friend that I was staying with let me use the room, and it was, like, perfect. Most overrated gay sexual experience. Most overrated gay sexual experience.
I would still have to go with 69. I know I said it last week, but I just don't really like 69. I Yeah, that would be my answer.
Mine would be double penetration. It sounds good in theory and hot, but it's tried it recently again, and it's just too many, like, choreography and no. Yeah.
As a
Ha
penetrator or the penetratee?
I was penetrating on the recent one. Yeah.
Oh, and you
But I've
still didn't
been
enjoy?
it was just too complicated, and I'd
Oh,
rather
okay.
watch, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you ever caught feelings after just sex? Yes. How about you?
Yes.
Yeah.
100% completely.
Is great sex possible without emotional connection? Yes. Done it in the dark room and sex parties. Absolutely. How about you?
Great sex? No. Good sex? Yes.
Okay. Have you ever wanted to text someone after sex and didn't? Yes, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yes, yes, of course. In my entire years, yes. Not recently though, because if I'm about it, then I'm about it. I will text you at the drop of a hat.
Love it. Have you ever used humor to avoid vulnerability in bed? Oh, absolutely. Or tried to use humor. I don't know if it worked, but um,
You're very funny, boo.
you'll thank
You
you.
make me
But
laugh all the time.
okay, you
Um,
too.
Thank you. But that's my modus operandi. I feel like for me, humor continually saves me from awkward moments or from actually feeling my feelings. So, yes.
What's better, sexual chemistry or emotional safety? Sexual chemistry, I think.
Really? I would go with emotional safety because
I
if
don't
I
like
don't
the
feel
word
safe,
safety in it, but I guess, yeah, maybe because I feel emotional safe with Diego and I have him. So
yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
yeah. Yeah. For me, in a hookup, if I don't feel like I can trust you or if I feel like my dick does not work, she's very fickle now these days as far as
Who she
safety.
points to.
As far as safety is concerned and attraction, and if she's not feeling the vibe, she's not going to work.
And then lastly, and I like this one thing you wish gay men talked about more honestly.
Oh, wow. This is a heavy one right here. One thing you wish gay men talked about more honestly, their feelings and being vulnerable, actually.
Me too. I think if, for years they put on such a facade of who I projected, and over this last several years, I just feel like I want to be more honest, and I have confidence that I'm not sharing it with everybody,
Yeah.
but of course you all on this show. But
Yeah.
besides that, I just wish more people, gay men, would feel the community sense that we had, that people aren't going to judge. You don't have to be this particular person. And hopefully you have, we were just talking about chosen family on the last episode, on that. Hopefully you have a form of family that you feel you can be honest with, and that nobody's going to judge you. And wherever you're at currently, that would be my hope in that one, for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah, and I just read a quote, I think it was today, and it said, like, "Why are you worried about being judged by the people that you don't number 1, don't care about, and number 2, that you, like, they're the worst people in the world. Why are you worried about being judged by them?" So, yeah.
That's a great quote. Very
Thank
good. I
you.
love
I don't think I'm
that.
quoting it, like, 100%, but I wanna look it up, and, I'll get back to you on that.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, keep weighing in on these. We'll read more at the end of the show if you feel like something sparked you, but you can always take it over to our Tags Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/tags podcast. But now it's time to get into hot topics. And I wanted to talk about something that recently happened in Miami, when a Pride themed park, Miami Pride Park bench, became the center of a disturbing hate crime after two tourists from Germany were arrested for vandalizing it with an anti Semitic graffiti. They basically put a swastika on the bench in the Pride Park. And by the way, these guys were tourists. One was Christoph Rehak at 58, and Gunther Manfred was 63. So not young people, and they were arrested after writing "Adolf was here" with a swastika on an LGBTQ plus IA bench at the Loomis Park in Miami. And what they failed to realize was that there are cameras everywhere. And after further investigation, they admitted to what they did. First off, the fact that they're German, I mean, I've done really gone on some amazing tours of, when you go to Berlin or Germany in general, on their history in general, right? And there are monuments erected all over parts of Berlin, including one for the LGBTQ community, gay men in particular, that were put in the Holocaust, and it's awful. And they have a very heavy, rich history. Obviously, that we're not going to get into the Holocaust right now,
Yeah,
but
yeah. We do not
they're
have time.
and it's rich. And I know that a lot of younger generations that I've learned that had grandparents that were, they asked the question, "Why didn't you do more?" Because we don't want our legacy to be this, that we hated Jews. And then to have two today, current adults, people that know better, to come
Like,
to the
super adults, too. Like, not
super
even, like,
adults.
30
So
years old.
there's the aspect of, then you come to Miami and this is what you choose to do, but then be so dumb to know that there aren't cameras and it's a hate crime, even in Miami, where, you know, we're not necessarily protecting LGBTQ plus rights all the time, but they were arrested. And anybody knows anything, like, do not get arrested in a foreign land, a foreign country. You know better. But then to bring such hate, what do you say to this?
Oh, it's appalling on every level. I don't understand how people could harbor such hate in their lives. And these men said it was a joke. What comedy show is this? I don't want to
Yeah.
go to it. I think that it's trash. I think that they are trash, and I cannot believe that someone would, like, have this hate in their hearts and openly put it on display on a bench in that was dedicated to LGBTQ plus people. Like, this is just appalling to me. I hope they are in jail currently, because why would they come here and do that? Why would they come here when,
Yeah.
because they know that in Germany they would be locked up for that, because the swastika there, they don't play that.
Right.
So
Yeah. Good
I
point.
I will never understand that. So
Ugh, it's yeah.
it's really disgusting. So
Incredibly disgusting, and they get what they get. And moving on to, we've talked about him before on this show, Looks Maxing. You guys know what Looks Maxing is, led by one person, not one, but one of the most infamous ones, Clavicular. Looks Maxing is that idea that a lot of straight men have, that you can make yourself look better as men by doing things like hitting your jaw with a hammer to make your jawline look strong. I mean, it's just dumb. And taking supplements that will make you look that much better. Clavicular is at the helm of this whole thing, and recently has been in the news a lot for a lot of strange behavior, including he was at a bar. I don't know if we talked about it on this show, Kodi, but he was completely out of it,
he
and
overdosed, I think.
he overdosed on something. Well, recently he went to court because he was with a group of people. They filmed all this stuff, and he in Florida shot an alligator that was already dead, but filmed it, and it's still illegal to shoot an animal like that. And he was in court for that. Well, now he's fighting that lawsuit against him. But what really caught most people's attention was the judge that presided over this court appearing that, dare we say, upstage Clavicular. Can we believe it? We should have put his picture for people to watch, but
Oh,
I'll put it on
wow.
our Patreon community. The judge that presided over it, Judge Marcus, re- is getting so much attention right now because he actually looks really amazing and extremely. Did you see what he looked like? Like
Girl,
his, yeah,
beautiful.
a
He looks
beautiful.
like an old school Hollywood actor. He's
Yeah,
gorgeous. So
oh, good. Yes, exactly. But natural, but just those. And Clavicular looks, I don't know, worked on in many ways for me. And I don't know, always has a blank stare on his face. They did, some people, you can put that whole thing over your face that will point there. Apparently there's points on your face that say that a perfect face has a,
mhm.
a perfect diameter from the eyebrow to the nose to the jawline, and Clavicular won a little bit over, barely over, this judge, but
Oh,
not
really?
much. It wasn't much, but honestly, when you do that much work to yourself, I think he just looks like blank and lifeless, where the judge looked like a real person and hot. And I love that the judge is getting way more, and he wasn't really lenient on Clavicular in the
Good.
end. And yeah, what do you say to this?
Yeah, well, the judge is always going to win over Clavicular in my book, because he's a judge and he's definitely smarter, because like you were saying, Clavicular has made some questionable choices in his life. So I am on the judge's side. I'm going to go, it makes me want to get locked up in Florida. No, not really. Never that. But I thought about it for a quick second. Or at least when he goes to this judge's court, because I stand him. He's gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Yes, my goodness, I love. We'll post
Judge
it on our
Chad,
Tags
how you
Patreon
doing?
community. Go to patreon.com/tags podcast. And then Apple's FaceTime sensitivity warning. Has this been around for a while and we're just figuring it out? Or
I
maybe it's an
never
update,
I'm not
but
sure.
apparently there's a FaceTime sensitivity warning causing a nightmare for long distance couples. Social media users have been left shocked by a recent Apple iOS update, which gives a quote unquote sensitivity warning if any nudity is visible during the FaceTime calls. You see, they're watching us, Kodi. We always knew it, but they're watching us. The measure was introduced for the safety and protection of children and other non consenting people. It adds a layer of security that means unwanted nudity in Apple apps, including Messages, FaceTime, AirDrop, and contacts will be blurred. However, for consenting adults, it's been putting a bit of a dampen on their online fun. So the thing is, we figured out that you can actually turn it off. And I recently was talking to my husband, and he was being cute and showed me his junk, and I was like, "Baby," and he was being cute. But the thing is, we were on WhatsApp, so we
Oh, there's
use
workarounds.
WhatsApp when we talk and bypassed it. So there,
There it
Apple.
is
But
right
I
there.
mean, what do you think of this Apple? But if feature, if you were in a long distance relationship, you just have to turn it off. But do they
Exactly.
know too much?
Yeah, I think that I should, try this out with a couple guys. We'll see. Just again, DM me. My DMs are open. Um, but I think this is a good feature for the kids. But we should be able to
Yeah,
turn
I
it
think
off
it's
as
good for the
adults.
kids.
Yes, we're all about protecting the kids here at Tags Podcast, and I think that as long as consenting adults are using this, then it's totally are turning it
Just
off,
turn it
then it's
off.
totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. Let's talk Pride because we're about to enter Pride season, and there's two stories that an ambulance service pulled out of Birmingham Pride after they got legal advice over impartiality fears. Basically, the West Midland Ambulance Service was told that the organization will not be taking part in the Birmingham Pride. There's no reason why, but it had to do with viewpoints that could seem impartial, specific views. We were never told what those were, but they pulled out. Now, it's an ambulance service that pulled out of a pride parade. Just go with that. Then there's the story of Long Beach Pride, which was canceled right before the weekend. And I used to live in LA, and Long Beach Pride was one of those ones that, like Kodi, Queens Pride here is super fun
Hmm.
to just, you know, if you can make it, it's always a lot of fun. It prefaces our own pride. Long Beach prefaces LA Pride, and it's a lot of fun. Last minute cancellations due apparently to the fact that they didn't have all their permits. Now, they were still able to do an actual parade on the day of, but all of the pre-pride celebrations, due to not having permits and crossing the T's and dotting the I's, were canceled on Friday and Saturday. What do you say to both of these, the ambulance and as we enter our own pride season?
Yeah, this is not the season for us to be getting this not correct here. I don't want to say wrong, but I need for us to all be able to dot our I's and cross our T's because we need pride more than ever right now because, we are in a state and we are in an administration that is not affirming us. So we need to be able to affirm ourselves because that's what pride is all about. So, yeah, we'll get it
Yeah.
together. I know we will.
Get it together. Oh my goodness. And we love giving advice on this show. And today is no different. And I love that our first one has to do with cruising, darkroom cruising. It comes from a Redditor that said, "Darkroom cruising, what are your tips for first timers? If you've had to give advice to someone entering a dark room for the first time at a party, bar, bathroom, bathhouse, or sex club, what would it be? I'm working on the next edition of my analog cruising manual, and I wonder if this is coming from the person that I'm holding up right now. Oh my gosh, I didn't really realize this, Kodi, but the
What?
person so the person that wrote this is, I'm working on the next edition of my analog cruising manual, and I'm fascinated by the different etiquette and cues people learn over time. I will message him on here because
Oh,
we've been trying to get
wow.
him on the show. I'm holding up right now Analog Cruising by Leo Herrera, and I'm looking at it right now, and it's posted by Herrera Images.
Nice.
So I thought it would be really cool to read a post from his book. He This is from his dark room moment here, and a dark room can be anything. One of my favorite active dark rooms, he writes, is in one of the Manhattan's last divey gay bars. The bar has been relocated 3 times in 20 years, but its dark room is still the same. Even the smell remains intact. This dark room starts off with the light stench of all old bars, mildew, booze, and disinfectant. Then it mixes with cologne, Equinox
Wow.
body products, and balls. Boys arrive pretending they don't want to use the dark room, but about an hour and a half before last call, it fills up to immobility. Shy boys and looky-loos tourists pack into tiny spaces for a frantic free-for-all, groping and sex. At closing time, the boys scramble out before the bar blasts the overhead fluorescence. Wow. And that comes from Leo Herrera's Analog Cruising. And I'm going to respond to him, Kodi, because we really want him on the show.
Yeah, we definitely do. He knows
But
what he's writing about.
what advice for someone entering a dark room for the first time? First off, I'm just going to out him in this. And we did our little deduction. He said Manhattan, a dark room bar that is moved 3 times, and it's the Cock, for crying out loud.
I've been
And
there.
been to I've been to 2 iterations, not the original OG, but I would say in a place, the Cock reminds me of Europe in many ways, with the bars in many parts of Europe where they have a dark room in the back. But the brilliance of it all is you walk into a bar with some friendly faces and you can sidle up and get a drink, as opposed to a bathhouse where you have to derobe
Yeah.
and actually have a locker room and there is no alcohol. This one, you actually can just kind of sidle up, get a drink, and when you're ready, move on into the other parts of the conclave of it all and take it in and really just kind of be a fly on the wall. Move to the back of the wall and just look. When you get eye contact or you see something you like, move over to that part. But if you start to want to move your hand in, if your hand is moved away, they don't want you a part of it, but sometimes they will. And it's a lot of less talking and less verbal cues and body language that say, yeah, come on over here, get down on your knees, or pull out your dick. It it works because you're not talking. Your your animalistic, your feral instincts start to take place. What would you say?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That was gonna be my advice too, to kind of take it in all at first and really get to see the vibe of the entire space. And that way you'll feel more comfortable. You'll be able to express yourself sexually better if you are more familiar with the space. Like you said, get a drink, really get in there and see what's going on. Be an observer first to see how what the etiquette is as far as the dark room is concerned. And yeah, just be open. It would be another piece of advice that I have, but also know where your boundaries are.
Excellent advice. I love that. And yes, and we will try to get Leo on the show
I
because
would love that.
it's so funny because I read this earlier and didn't realize when in our meeting. And here I am reading from his first book, and he's basically asking him for his second book. Really cool. We have time for one more. And I think it had to do, oh, sorry, Kodi, what was the one you wanted to do
The
that I was being?
one about quiet love, or
Yes.
is he not just
Okay.
that into me?
So it's entitled Quiet Love or Just Not That Into Me, How to Read a Reserved Man. Basically, this gay man in his 30s has been on 3 dates over 3 weeks with a guy I met on Tinder. I have disorganized attachment, that's his words, and a history of feeling unseen in relationship. He says he's in therapy and dealing with TMS for depression. But the connection is amazing. The chemistry, the kissing, the way he holds me, it's unlike anything. He's respectful of my boundaries, physically tender, and we've gotten very close without having full sex. He told me he's always been reserved and has a I guess that's how his face doesn't show much. Yeah, it's interesting written. I think they've done playlists for each other, but when it comes down to texting and emotional style triggering, the guy is not responding the way that the writer really would like him to, and he's
Okay.
not giving him as much. But I say it's a lot to find somebody that you connect with in 3 dates, that you would wanna even go out with somebody for 3 dates, and you're there. I say stay in there, and on your next meeting, because it sounds like you're making playlists for each other, there's a bond, that I would just say, "Hey, w if this is gonna continue more, I need a little bit more for you to show me more, or is this just how you are, and I shouldn't read too much into it?" What would you say?
I totally agree with you. When people tell you who they are, like literally believe them because I feel like, especially in this type of relationship, they're not going to want to misrepresent themselves. So if he really is this kind of more subdued person, I think that you should just believe him. And if your needs aren't being met, like Steve said, put that on loudspeaker. Something I would also be cognizant of is uh, how he treats other people and how if he's subdued around other people or if it's just your relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it can be an indicator of what his actual like underlying nature is. So I feel like as long just be cognizant of all that, stay the course because it sounds like you got a really good thing going. So yeah,
Yeah.
just really just lean into your intuition.
Great advice as
Thank you. I'm so very up.
always. Oh my
It was touch and go
goodness.
for a second, girl.
You're good, you're good. You touched into your superpower Superman, Janet Jackson keychain over there, and
That's
you're doing
right.
great. Oh my gosh, we could do this all night, but we have to go, sadly. And you can always follow my co-host on Instagram and Blue Sky at Mr. Maurice. And don't forget, he has an EP out, Thing of Beauty, plus a music video, and he's working on new music as we speak.
I
Really
am.
excited about, yeah, any tidbits you can share and what's inspiring your new music?
Well, I love the dolls, and I'm writing a song dedicated
Oh.
to the dolls and the girls. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm already got a whole music video in that I'm trying to pitch and we're trying to make happen. So I can't wait. I'm very excited. Hopefully we can get it out by the end of June. So yeah.
Exciting. That would be great. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And
I'm
you can follow.
trying.
That's okay. Yeah. I am on a little break, and Cody will be hosting the show with Teddy for the next couple Wednesdays.
That's right.
Yeah, but follow me on our Patreon community because I'm going to be posting. I'm going to Iceland, and along the way, you'll see all my pictures, and I'm going to post it exclusively for our Tags Patreon community. And we see some of you that have been coming in recently. We appreciate the support. You can go to patreon.com/tags podcast. Follow me on Instagram. I am _ Steve V. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Hi, Doug. Hi, Duran. Love you too. Thank you.